Hello, my cat loving friends. You know, when you have a friend that comes to visit and you just want them to keep coming back, I think that explains Dr. Rachel Geller. And this is usually where I tell you all the stuff that she's doing, but she does too much. So I'll tell you all about that later. But she is a behaviorist like us. She's working on retention, and she started with Stacy Barron some new classes for surrender prevention, which we are super excited about. There's a book and all kinds of stuff we're going to talk about. So hang in. Right after we hear from the sponsored ad, we will be back. Welcome back to 19 Cats and Counting. I'm your co-host, Linda Hall, here with the ever gorgeous Eva, my BFF, Rita Reimers.
She wants something when she's talking like that.
Always. Even when I don't, I just say nice things to put them in a bank for when I do want
I got
something.
it. Well, okay. I have to correct you during your introduction.
What?
You said Dr. Rachel is a behaviorist like us. No. She's uber beyond. Behaviorist. She's the doctor for one thing.
Yes.
Let's go talk to her about what she's into.
Behavior and retention, home education specialist, pet chaplain, fear-free shelter specialist, American Association of Feline Practitioners, cat-friendly veterinary advocate, and Red Rover reader. Okay, now
is there any time left to do the podcast? I don't know.
No, her list of accomplishments is
oh, we're so happy to have
Dr.
you back.
Rachel. Yes, we love you. Plus, she's cute as a button. She's just cute.
Definitely.
Okay.
If you don't know who she is, be sure to go to her website.
Yes.
We are RachelCatBehavior.com.
My face is now the color of that red behind you, Rita. So
yes, it's all the truth. I mean, you got to hook up with her social media just to watch what she wears when she does events, because she can't be beat on her dressing. But so, in addition to everything you're doing, and we fell in love with you for a million reasons, but we loved that it was cat behavior and retention.
Yes.
Because that really is what every behaviorist is trying to do, right? Is trying to help fix the problem so that the cat can stay in the home.
Or prevent it in the first place.
Or prevent the cat. Yes, that too. But now you've moved on to surrender prevention. So we need to hear all about that.
Well, I'm very excited to be here, you guys. So thank you for the return engagement. I'm thrilled.
Our pleasure.
So surrender prevention, what is that? So at its roots, it's kind of getting shelters to think about cat behavior problems in a new way. So how it is right now in many shelters is somebody will get a call. My cat is peeing all over the house. My cat is shredding my couch and now it looks like confetti. I can't have this cat in my home. I need to surrender the cat. And immediately the people who answer the phone would be thinking, well, are we going to really be able to adopt out a peeing cat? Are we really going to be able to adopt out a cat that pees here, that pees there, that scratches the couch? So many times the shelters will say we're full, or we'll put you on a waiting list, or something to that extent. They don't usually joyfully embrace bringing this cat with a behavior problem into the shelter because they know it's probably going to be a long-term stay. So now we're looking at a new perspective. What if when somebody calls the shelter and says, my cat is peeing all over the home, somebody could be certified as a surrender prevention specialist and will be able to say to the caller, I'm so glad you called our shelter because we can help. What if we told you that completely free of charge, we will offer you cat behavior services so the cat can stay in the home? And most people do say yes, because they get to the point where they think that, they've lost hope. They've probably tried things from many well-meaning friends and relatives. They've Googled things, and now they've completely lost hope that this cat can never be a well-behaved member of their family. So they're at their last option. Now we have to surrender. But rather than a shelter being worried about, can we really take a cat like this in, and will we be able to get it adopted out? We're now training people to be empathetic, to be understanding, and to guide that person through easy to implement solutions so the cat can stay in her home.
I love this. It's parallel to a lot of what we try to do. We are also hear a lot that we're the last hope. Often it's a spouse or a significant other that's pressuring the other person to fix the problem now or get rid of the cat.
People wait a long time too. Do you not get clients calling saying the cat's been peeing on the floor. How long has this been going on? 5 years.
I
And so
have
by
one
the
that I'm
time
working on right now.
Why do they
after
wait so
they've reached out,
long?
it's like me and my hair. I just wake up one day and go, it must be cut now. It's like they just woke up and said, I cannot clean up one more puddle of pee. I'm done now. And you
Yeah,
fix
and
this
that's
or
the
else.
thing that, yeah, and that's the thing that whoever answers the phone at the shelter really needs to think about. And that's why part of my course is I really talk about empathy, compassion, and being non-judgmental. Because
Right.
typically this has been a long road before the person gets to the point that they really need to surrender. And they've probably tried a lot and they've been under pressure, like you said, from a friend, a relative, a husband, a spouse,
Right.
girlfriend, whatever. And they it's been a long, probably very bad road before they got to this point. And none of us likes to be judged, right? But people will call and they'll say they want to surrender the cat, and we're immediately judging this person. And
Yes.
and we don't really know the person, and the person is turning to us for help. And many people do get judgmental. And I get it. I do it myself. I just make sure I do it with my quiet voice and not with my outdoor
Yes.
voice. But we
Yes.
want to be empathetic. We want to sound like we really care. We want the cat, we want that person to work with us, right? So we need to be their
Yes.
ally. So we need to really develop a bond so the person is willing to give this a try. And so, it's not only the cat behavior techniques, it's the empathy, it's the understanding, it's the way we talk to people. At the
Yes.
very, so many times we think someone's going to surrender a cat doesn't care. But if you think about it, the person's not abandoning the cat. They're not sticking the cat outside. They're not, they at least want the cat to be someplace safe. They're
Yes.
choosing your shelter because they think this is a safe spot. So the person does have some level of care
Right.
and concern for the cat.
Yeah, it is hard. And there are just so many cats that need homes. And I said, we talked about that before we came in. I did the math, so it's not an exact number, but I took the estimate of how many cats, just cats, are surrendered to shelters every year, not rescues, not kicked out, just shelters. And then I took the percentage that they claim are surrendered for behavior issues, which we all know is low because there are a lot of cats being brought in as strays that are not strays. They were in their home. There was a problem.
People don't want to pay the fee, so they say, "Oh, it's a
or they're
stray."
ashamed. So
They're
yeah,
embarrassed.
exactly. So they don't say anything. But the number I got, which again we're saying is very low, is 134,400. So I have tried very hard to imagine in my head a space with 134,400 cats. I cannot. That's too many cats for my brain. But if we took all those cats out of the shelters, okay, even just let's say 100,000 out that could have been corrected by behavior, how many more resources do they have now? How many more warm beds do they have for the truly stray or feral cat or cat whose mama got killed by the road or whatever people pass, whatever, that really need those spaces.
Yeah,
So
I
you're
agree.
doing it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree 1,000,000%. If a cat already has a home, let's keep that cat in her home. Because yes, as you said, that frees up a spot for a cat who truly is homeless, is on the
Yes.
street, is a stray. It's so important. I mean, we already have too many cats and not enough shelters. So let's
Yes.
keep the cats that can be, helped in their homes. And it's interesting because I find that most people really do, want to keep their cats. They've just gotten to that point where,
Yep.
they just can't do it anymore. And they're really in crisis when they turn around and call a shelter. They've really made
Yes.
that decision that, they've lost hope and there's nothing they can do and the cat needs to go to a shelter. So you think about that first phone call and the person who's doing the intake, how important it is to listen, to be compassionate, to show empathy, to say, I get it. Cat pee really is smelly, be understanding.
Yes.
Yeah, think about what they're saying and really be empathetic and really be caring. And I think that even just that piece of it is so important, that, ability to understand, not judge, and kind of get that person on your side so that they're open to working with you in some way so that they can keep their cat. And the reason I like the surrender prevention idea too is that, there are a lot of people who want to volunteer at shelters, but maybe they don't necessarily want to be at the shelter scooping poop, or maybe they really don't want to be, maybe someone else in the family is allergic, so that they're worried about bringing home like cat fur and dander and so forth. Well, this is a way to volunteer for a shelter you can do from your own home.
Yes.
So it's a whole other way to volunteer. It's a whole other way to look at the process of surrendering. Like just because someone wants to surrender the cat, doesn't mean we need to say, okay, that's it. You yes or no, those are your
Oh,
choices.
for sure.
Right, let's fix this cat. I think so many people don't realize that many of these problems really are fixable.
Oh,
And
so
they
fixable.
really are solvable.
Yeah,
and
a lot of people don't even know we exist. They didn't even know cat behaviorists exist.
Yes.
And we get so
Yes.
many people who just burst into tears crying because they are so stressed and they want to keep the cat, but they don't know, like the gal we're going to talk to next that we met
Oh,
yesterday.
she's in hell. Poor thing.
Yeah, it's
really
really
is.
difficult.
The cat is keeping her up all night meowing. She literally is, and whatever problem there is, you don't get sleep, it has just reached mass quantity, right? Like it is just, we can't deal now. She's just, and so often people will unload their problem, and it's a problem. I mean, I'm sure you can attest to this. Peeing outside the box, pooping outside the box, spraying, fighting, peeing outside the box, pooping outside the box, spraying, fighting,
And every once in a while, excessive meowing.
Yes,
throw that in there too.
Yeah, we get excited when we see it to something that isn't pee poop or fighting.
It's true.
But but then they'll tell us their problem, and then they'll be like, wait, so, and we're like, okay, so I think, a 60-minute would be great, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, wait, so this can be fixed?
Right.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, done it. Been there, done that 8,000 times over. So I think that's the big thing, people just they think it's insurmountable.
They do. And I think a lot of it is because of a lot of misinformation out there.
Yes.
And, people try different things that may or may not be very effective. And also, I think people aren't always I've learned you really can't always trust a cat owner to identify the situation in a way that in what's really going on. Like they'll just say my cat is aggressive, or my cat's attacking me, or my cat's not using the litter box on purpose.
Cat peeing. Oh,
right. Really
those revenge peers. We get a lot of those revenge peers.
They think spite and revenge and they're angry at me, or jealousy. None of those things exist for cats.
They do not. That's a big thing of what I do in surrender prevention is to assure people that cats don't think about right or wrong the way we do. So if your cat is not using the litter box, it's not because she's doing something bad or she has some moral defect. It's because there's some problem in her life about that box, and she's trying to solve that problem as a cat, not as a person. So if your cat's afraid to go in the box, and you have this lovely bed that's elevated, well, that's a great way for her to solve the problem, because she has a nice visual field and she's not afraid to go there. So it's kind of like doing a little bit of detective work to figure out why that cat's not going in the box. But I always assure people that spite and revenge are qualities that we humans can proudly call our very own.
Exactly. There's no jealousy. Resource guarding is close to jealousy, but it's not jealousy.
Yeah, everything they do is based on their need to survive. It's all survival.
Right.
And often we're just not listening to them, right? So one of my daughter's cats, Shadow, she gets bullied a lot, and she has a lot of problems with pooping outside the box, usually right in front of the box, which we know means she wants to be in the box. I am not mad at this cat for what's going on. Well, for the longest time, there's a box in my bedroom behind me. She was pooping right beside the box. And I mean, we've been fighting this for months. I'm almost embarrassed to admit all this. So finally, the other day, I grabbed a box that was small that I had gotten for one of the kittens and, never ended up using or only used it a minute. And I set it next to the box. She's pooping in it. She's pooping in one and peeing in the other. This was not, for whatever reason.
Some cats do that.
Separate potty.
Yes.
And I mean to tell you guys, we've been doing this for like 6 months, cleaning up poop, getting unhappy. I'm a freaking behaviorist. I set another box. I stopped and I thought, because it was a conversation Rita and I had years ago when I first had to put a box in my bedroom. And I said, I am not putting a box in my bedroom. And she said, well, they're going to tell you where they want a box. So here are your choices. Clean up the poop or put in a box. That's on you, right?
That's true. When you've got that many cats, you really have to spread out where the boxes are.
So I thought, well, it can't hurt. The box is here. I've got litter. I'll stick it. Problem solved.
Yeah. And that, to me, that's amazing of how many cats I've kept out of shelters and in their homes by simply saying, take the cover off the box. Pull the box out from under the sink. Pull the box out from under the table. And so, then people are thinking, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread because, I solved their problem. And it was so easy to solve the problem. So, even if people doing surrender prevention aren't full-blown, behaviorists, they're going to have enough tools to kind of work with those more
Understand
basic.
why. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so I really think, because so many of these problems can be solved really with not doing anything overly major. So it's really important to have that first line of defense. Yeah.
Those, super simple are very rare, but I laugh to this day. Many years ago, my mother calls me from Florida. They wintered in Florida. They don't anymore. And she said, Linda, I'm scared. I'm scared your dad's going to throw this cat out. For whatever reason, Jazzy has decided to start peeing on our bed. Now they winter in one of those mobile home communities, so there's no washer and dryer in their trailer, understand, and they're old and tired, and this is a real problem. So I said to her, has she been to the vet recently? Yep, just a couple months ago. I said, okay, well, if we can't figure it out, she might, maybe if something bladder has ensued since then. But I said, did you change litters? Oh, yeah, we switched to one that's easier for your dad to carry. Yeah, put that back. Checks the bills in the mail, right? Like, I want $500. Solve their problem.
If people contact us with simple things like that, we're just going to tell them, try this. If it doesn't work, then
exactly.
book a session.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had many call and their cats aren't neutered, and it's like, do me a favor, neuter the cat and then call me.
Right.
We may still have a problem. We might not.
We have to take a real quick break, but we'll be right back to talk more about surrender prevention. We'll be right back. And we're back with 19 Cats and Counting with my BFF, Linda Hall, and the possum, Dr. Rachel. We're talking about surrender prevention.
Yes. So, we were talking before the break about a couple of examples of really simple things. I wish they were all like that, right? We could write a book and be done with it.
Right.
But, obviously they're
move the box, the end.
Exactly.
The box, the end.
We did have one of those. Cat was peeing outside of the box, right in front of the
window
box.
ledge.
Can't imagine why. We're talking to her via Zoom and we watch the cat jump up in the window ledge. The box is right below the window. The tail starts thrashing. Like, honey, you got strays outside. That's why your cat won't potty there. Fortunately, she had other problems to tackle because that one was like, gotta go.
It really helps if the person can get a visual of
It does.
the environment. So is this going to be Zoom calls or phone calls or home visits? How's that going to happen?
Yeah, so I'm helping people, learn how to do this on like Zoom, Google Meet, FaceTime, because the reality is we don't really, sometimes you do, but many times you can do this, virtually, and you can see enough of what's going on to solve the problem. So I do really encourage people to, in order to save more cats and in order to use your time more efficiently, to, work with via phone, email, video, that type of thing.
Zoom, I don't know if you found this, Dr. Rachel, but first of all, when we go into someone's home, the cats usually hide. Even if they don't hide, they're not going to display their typical behavior because there's strangers present any more than kids will act normal when there's strangers present.
Right.
But via Zoom, we have caught cat fights. The litter box thing. I mean, I didn't have to.
They'll suddenly stop and they'll go, wait, something's brewing. And we go and watch what's happening. I love it.
Turn it. We want to watch. Yes, we love that. So I think it's advantageous.
I do too. And not only for that very, very important reason, but because sometimes cat owners, like I said, don't describe the problem accurately.
Yes.
So don't always assume that the way they're describing the problem is really what's actually happening. I once had a client who told me that she was having problems with her cat because her cat was very unsocialized. So when I think of someone using the term unsocialized, I would think, maybe feral, semi-feral, cat maybe who was domesticated, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then as we're talking about it more, and we go on Zoom, she starts pointing out the litter box and how the cat is not going to the litter box. And then I realized she was like using unsocialized as sort of uncouth or
okay, like untrained or
he wasn't going to the litter box because he was unsocialized.
He's a wild man cat. Yeah, got it.
So it's really important sometimes to get that visual so you really know. And people do tend to use terms like aggression and attacking, and often it's not aggression, often it's fear. And often it's not
Yes.
attacking, often it's boredom. So getting that visual really helps you to, tease all of this out.
100%.
Sometimes
yes.
it's rough play too. We've had people send
Yes,
us videos
yeah.
and Linda and I will look and go, I don't see a problem. Do you? No.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think sometimes we humans get in our own way too much. We're afraid of a
Yeah.
fight, so we get in too quickly. And sometimes cats just have to set their boundaries.
Yeah.
They'll say, "Oh, she kept bugging at her," and finally she smacked him upside the head, and we're like, "Good." And they're like, "Wait, no, did you not hear me? She smacked him upside. That's awesome. Was there blood? Then that was a good thing. She was setting some boundaries, and we don't want her attacking him out of nowhere. But if he's pestering her and she smacks him upside the head, good for her.
Yeah,
Right?
we can get them through the
I have
fear.
my boundaries too. I totally get that.
Yeah.
Yes, I can smack somebody upside the head too. And they're just, I have never seen a case of
Come on.
aggression, bullying, whatever that didn't come from fear.
Yes.
I think from what we've seen that it's all fear. Some go fight, some go flight.
Yeah.
So once we get them over the fear, the setting of the hierarchy, that's up to them. We can't do that for them.
Yes.
That's right. But the one thing we can do is help the humans so the cats can have that hierarchy without the
Yes.
fighting. Vertical space.
Excuse me.
Cushions on
Yes.
top of storage containers, repurpose the couch with a
Yes.
on the back, really providing, look around, maybe there's some extra shelving in your house, unlike mine is
Yes.
covered with all the cat paraphernalia, but
Right.
chances are there is some extra shelving going on in most people's houses and they can put a cozy quilt there and create some vertical space. So, doing things
100%.
so the cats feel like they have a much bigger environment. And a lot of people
Yes.
think that a cat tree is just a cat tree or vertical space is just vertical space, but it also gives the cats a way to communicate status without fighting. The higher status cat can take the highest tier.
Yes.
And the lower status, right? So there are many roads to Mecca, and that's what the surrender prevention is
I
all
love
about.
that. I love that.
Well,
And it
Linda and I are
doesn't-
looking forward to taking this class. That's for sure.
Oh, so badly. Yes. We are going to take this class and we're going to use this because, yeah, this is huge. And it is hard on people, even the people that we've talked to that are ready to surrender. There's pain there.
Yeah.
There's
They
no
don't want
circumstance.
to do it. Most of them don't want to do it. We've had a few that they came to us with their mind made up. That was the answer, but usually not.
Right. I agree. Most people do want to keep their cat,
Mhm.
but we're always going to have those ones that, their mind is made up, and we're always going to have those ones that maybe we really can't solve the problem. And that's why it's so important to have shelters, who have space.
Yes,
And that's why it's so
yes.
important what you're doing with your sanctuary, so that there's another option for people who do care. They
Yes.
want their cat to be someplace safe, and they do care.
Yes.
So we need those shelter spots for cats who really do not have a home. And we need people like you who want to create sanctuaries to, save even more cats.
Oh, people
Yeah.
call us all the time. We've got at least 3 people right now that want us to take their cats, and we don't have a
there-
place to put them.
There are 3 local-ish cats to us
Yeah.
that we could take easily. There are plenty more than that are
Yes,
in
I just
other
mean 3 that
places, and
really
yes,
want us. Like the guy whose wife died, right? He doesn't want the cats.
yeah.
That's not a behavior thing, but they need a place to go to.
Yeah.
But they also
Yeah.
need someone understanding of their grief and what they're going through, because this is
Yes.
where they've lost mom and now they're gonna, and
Lose their home,
that's what
lose their
people are
dad.
missing. Yes. And
Yeah.
I understand as well as anyone. I mean, in 2020, when we lost my son-in-law, the ambulance took him away and he was in a coma on event for 26 days. So for 26 days, we've got 4 cats who adore their human daddy and don't know where he went. And then a few
Mhm.
days after he dies, they get packed up and moved to grandma's house. 3 of them had never been here. 3 of them had never seen a dog. She's a Chihuahua and is harmless, but they
They
didn't,
didn't
know that.
But still,
The tiger had been here before, so he was like, yeah, I'm cool with this. But the other 3 had not. The grief, the peeing, the spraying, my own cats, her cats. I gotta tell you, Dr. Rachel, I wanted to run away from home. I remember I could cry. One of her cats was very food obsessed from living out of dumpsters and would steal food right out of your mouth. I mean, we had a mountain to tackle all at once. No way to segregate them.
Yeah.
It was ugly. I get everybody's feelings of giving up. I just knew I didn't have an option.
Hey, but we did it, and it went so well. She took in a 12th cat. So if that says anything about it.
Stray in the backyard,
Yeah.
not spayed. Okay, fine, bring her in. So yes, which is why we want the sanctuary, and especially like the seniors and these cats that are so overlooked. And like my
Yeah,
FIV boy Kismet, and the cats that people won't take. We want to give them a
Right.
forever place.
Yes.
And once we
Yes.
get that established, we want to start taking some of these
Not a
cats
place
that-
with cages either.
No, a home,
A
a
home.
Right.
free range
Yeah.
home as cats should be living.
Yes, and that's why I think it's so important to have, the more intervention and tools that we have, the better. So you think about, surrender prevention. If we can keep that cat in the home, great. But then you have, people who are moving, and maybe the new apartment or wherever they're going does not accept pets,
Or they're going
maybe-
overseas.
or they're going overseas, or maybe it's something really awful, like they've lost their job and they're moving in with their parents. Well, there's some things we really can't solve, right?
Yes,
Or,
yes,
so
yes.
and we want these cats to be well cared for, and the surrender often wants to know the cats are going to be cared for too. So, these sanctuaries are just a vital need in the cat community right now, so we don't have to euthanize or have cats needlessly suffer for problems that we humans can solve.
Exactly, because a cat's acting like a cat. And I would also say,
What, honey?
even if you've had this conversation with someone who's going to surrender and they still surrender, if you hadn't had this empathetic conversation with them and given them the knowledge that they need, they probably at least I would never adopt a cat again. I'd be like,
Yeah.
that was a failure. That
Yeah.
didn't happen. But after talking to you, maybe when I've grown a little and situations have changed, I could say, okay, let me give this another shot. We've had so many clients that are like, I've had cats for 60 years.
Dexter's trying to
I
eat
don't
my
understand
cords
what
here.
this
There
cat
you
is
go.
doing, right? Like, who's this cat?
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
and I would like to see us in this capacity to say, look, if the person does end up giving up the cat, I would like to donate my service for one consultation for free for whomever adopts the cat, because they need to understand the problems that might come up.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
might make someone more willing to adopt.
And we need to encourage people too, if they're going to go ahead and surrender because they've got those situations, need to be honest about the cat's temperament, personality, behavior issues, anything like that, so that we can work with the cats and make them adoptable.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. We always want to be empathetic, and we always want to be understanding, no matter what the situation is, because like you said, we never know down the year their situation may change and they can adopt a cat, and they're going to feel more okay about doing that. But just in general, strengthening community connections, having people out there see that you're a really wonderful resource. People talk, so no matter what the situation is, you really want to do your best to be, empathetic, compassionate, understanding, and you don't want that person to feel like they're being judged or that you disapprove. I mean, that's just not going to be helpful at all.
They're already judging themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many times do we hear the word guilt in a day?
A lot.
It's crazy. I would also like to see rescues and shelters step up in this demand and add some of the questions to those already long forms that no one wants to fill out when they have to adopt a cat, because they leave out a lot of things. Like, for example, if you come home and Fluffy pooped on your bed, how will you respond?
What do you do?
That? Because we get a lot of clients who think it's perfectly fine to rub Fluffy's nose in it like she's a dog from the 50s.
Yeah.
And, I want to know what they'd say. And if you had a behavior problem, what would you do? Who would you come with? And then I'd like to see them staple cards to a behaviorist or print some information just as a suggestion to say, here's one in case you can't find anybody. Because and we're finding a lot of people. We just spoke to a lady in India that was like, there are no behaviorists here. There's no such thing here.
We have another
can't.
India coming up too. And the lady in Japan, she's an expat, but there's nobody there either.
We're finding a lot of people like that are having to, which thank God for Zoom, but yeah.
Yeah, thank God for Zoom, and thank God, like I said, the surrender prevention course can be taken anywhere at any time.
Yes.
So, the last time I gave it, the first time I gave it, we had people on there from Hong Kong, from Italy, from Morocco, like just people all over the world. So if you think about it, the more we can get people educated and become certified and have the tools to keep the cat in their home, the better we're all going to be, because the three of us can't do this on our own. So
for sure.
People out there who can really be that first line of defense and are really going to be able to help the cats, remain where they are with, like I said, solutions and techniques. And the other thing that I think really emphasize in my course is how important it is to find out realistically, you guys were just mentioning this before, what are the clients' financial limitations, time limitations, patience limitations. You know, we talk about being honest. You know, some people, if they've already spent a lot of money and they bought their fourth couch, or, you know, maybe they're low income, they're not going to want to spend money, you know, on cat behavior help.
Yes.
So some people will say, I'm not spending another dime on this cat. Some people will say, pie in the sky, I want this to work. Whatever you tell me.
Yes, we do get those.
We've
We
got
love those
those,
people.
yeah.
I'll do anything to help my cat. I don't care
Right,
what it
right.
costs.
And some people will have time limitations. I have 2 weeks to fix this problem. Some people have patience limitations.
Yes.
So it's really important to ask a lot of questions and find out what that person's limitations are. Because if they
Yes.
can't afford, you know, if they're low income, or they don't have a lot of money, or they're frustrated because they've already spent a lot of money, they're not going to like be dashing out to buy a giant cat tree or a window purchase. So maybe
Yes.
work with these people and suggest other things that are low cost or no
Yes.
cost. Talking about before, well, let's use existing things in your home to
Yes.
space.
We talk
right?
about
So-
that a lot.
Yes, we treat
Yeah,
all
so-
of our clients like they live on our budget. So, you know, whether they do or not, if they want to upgrade, that's fine, but we're going to.
Yeah.
So before we
Yeah.
run out of time, I want to talk about your book, which
Yeah,
I
'cause
haven't gotten yet, but I'm going to.
We need to
So-
wrap. We need to wrap shortly. So let's talk about the
Yes.
book and also how people can take that course.
Yes.
So the book is called Saving the World One Cat at a Time. And
Love it.
it's a little bit of an instructional memoir is how I like to refer to it. I talk a little bit about my story and how I got to this point where I spend a lot of time talking about poop and pee. But there's also a section of the book where I give solutions and techniques for people who are having problems with their cats, you know, just the basics.
Wonderful.
But the reason I wrote the book is, well, I wanted to help people, but I also wanted to really help people. So I use it as a fundraiser. And what I do is I donate 100% of the proceeds from my book to different causes, different shelters, different
Awesome.
animal welfare organizations. And I will be donating 100% of the proceeds from my book during some period of time to the Cat Behavior Alliance and 19 Cats and Counting. So I'm really excited to have that honor and to have that
thank you.
privilege, because I know everything you guys are doing is so important and so needed, and especially this sanctuary that you're working on. It's so needed. We have way too many cats and not enough shelters, and
Yes,
so
true.
Linda and Rita, we need you guys to have that sanctuary, and I want to be part of that. So
Oh,
Thank you.
We
I
are
can't
so
thank you
appreciative.
enough. I can't thank you
No,
enough.
you
That's
can't.
so generous of you.
yes.
We've been wanting to do this for years, Linda and I.
Yeah. And then there was a rescue where I got 2 of my cats in the local area in North Carolina
She
that
relocated.
had to relocate for a lot of reasons. And they have got the most amazing retirement community. There's Sun City. Is that
Sun
what it's called?
City. And
Shout out to our Sun City ladies who all volunteered there, and they're aching. They're like, open the sanctuary. We want to volunteer. We just got to buy the land and make
Yeah,
the building, right?
these
Like,
these
we're not
ladies
itching.
and gentlemen, they're so active in the pet community, and they volunteer at the shelters. I just can't wait till we have a place for them to come and
Yes.
help us with our kitties.
Yes.
yeah,
just
it's
getting the
such
stuff
a
on.
it's such a necessary thing.
Yes.
And you know, I feel like the sanctuary that you guys are talking about, where you're really
Yes.
going to accept, you know, any cat who really needs help, is
Yes.
it's such a beautiful thing to do, to really, you know, you're not going to say, oh, that cat pees, I'm not taking the cat. You're not going to say,
Oh,
oh, that
no.
cat.
Those are the cats we're purposely taking. I have a dream of
Right,
walking
right.
into 10 different shelters and going,
Too.
who's been there the longest and who's
Right.
unadoptable? Put
Yep.
them in this carrier. No, I don't want to
Exactly.
see them. No, I
I've
don't
done
care if
that.
they're male or female. Just
I've
stick with it.
actually
I know
done
you
that.
have. I know
No,
you
I
have.
love that. I love that you guys are going to take, you know, cats who are neglected and give them care, cats who have been abused and give them love. I mean, you guys are going to take sad cats and make them happy. And
That's
that's what
the
it's
goal.
all
That's the
about.
goal.
That's the goal. And that's what
Yeah.
we've seen so many times. And it's basically what we're doing in our homes. No one has 12 and 15 cats on purpose,
No.
people.
Or
It
20,
was,
no.
you know, you get that call and it's going to be
Yeah.
euthanized, or it's being
It is
overlooked for some
expensive.
ridiculous reason. And oh yeah, I
We
said
can't do it
before
alone.
Yeah, I
You
said
can't do
before
it
we came
alone.
on here,
Yep.
my Chewy bill is more than my mortgage, people, which is why I cannot keep taking in cats.
Yep.
That, and I keep making a joke that if I bring in a 13th cat, my husband will divorce me. I don't think he really will, but he'll certainly make my life uncomfortable.
I think
by
my
being
parents
cranky.
will cart me off to the
Yeah.
insane asylum if I go back up to 20.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
fundraising is just a really necessary piece.
It
really
is.
This whole thing that we're all doing, and I know it can be hard to ask for money, but I feel like a lot of people are good with buying a book. You know, they get something, they can pass it on, it's a gift. They're
Yes.
getting something, and then that money will go directly to you. And you know, so we'll
Yes.
keep on saving all those cats, which is
Thank you.
why we're
Yes.
here.
And they'll get
Yeah.
this education that'll help them with their cats. And
Yes.
again,
Where can they take that course? Where do they
yes.
sign up?
Okay, so the course is given through Community Cats Podcast. So the website is communitycatspodcast.com. And right on the landing page, just scroll down a little bit, you'll see upcoming events. Click on that and you're on the way. And
Yay.
if you can't come at the time and date that it's happening, register anyway, because you get a full year's access to those recordings. So you can take the
Nice.
course on your own, you know, time constraints, whatever works out.
Yes.
Out best for you. Take the quiz and become certified as a surrender prevention specialist and be part of the solution.
And,
Rita
and
and
how
I are
much is the
definitely
course? We'll
doing
be
it.
doing that. How much is the course, if anyone's
The
wondering?
course is $10.
It's such
very,
a bargain.
very
Give up a
reasonable.
Starbucks and learn how to help cats, right?
Yeah,
Like that's really $10. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really something.
It's
Yeah.
really very, very affordable. If you really can't afford the $10, I know that the Community Cats Podcast does have scholarships and grants, but I think probably most people can afford the $10.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
take the
Yeah.
course, be part of the solution, be part of what
Yes.
we are trying to do. And, you know, we all need to work together here to get these cats.
Yes.
And then you can
Yeah,
go out
thank
and
you.
help your local shelters.
Yes,
Yes. Imagine what you can do to help people again from home. There's so many people since
Right.
COVID that are not wanting to be around other people.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is a way that you can help out. Now,
Yeah.
where do they find the book? That's not on communitycatspodcast.com, correct?
It's on your
You are
website,
right.
correct?
It's on my website, which is drrachelcatbehavior.com. And there's a
Okay.
tab that says buy the book.
Okay.
Click on that and you're on your way.
All right. Awesome. That way they can get that education. Because believe me, like I said, we've had people come to us 70 years old that have had cats their entire lives. And then they got the one cat that had anxiety or past
Mhm.
abuse. And they're like, I really thought I knew cat. How many times have you heard that? I know cats. I've had a million cats. What
Yes.
is this? This is not as a cat.
I hear that all the
Yeah.
time as well. Yes.
Yep.
You know, you get that one cat who is a problem cat or is presenting things that people aren't used to seeing. And, you know, they get nervous, they get upset, they're not sure they can handle it. And
Yes.
that's why we're here.
Yes.
Well, let's get those numbers down in the shelters. Let's help more cats stay in their home. And
Yes.
please help us build our sanctuary dream so we have a place to put these kitties. We can
Yes,
work with
get
them.
this book and help
Yes.
yourself and help us too. And Dr. Rachel, I cannot thank you enough. Every time I hear your name, you are evolving into another area. I don't know how you've spread yourself so thin. Maybe that's why she's so tiny. But you are doing so much good in so many places. And we just, there are no words. So I'll just leave it there.
Linda did
Well,
the thank
thank you
you
for your
for me.
support.
I'm speechless. So thank you
Yeah,
for
I know.
putting it so
She's-
eloquently.
Yeah.
Dr. Rachel, can't thank you enough.
Well, thank
Linda.
you guys too. Yeah.
Well,
We're all,
any-
we're all on the same path to the
that's
same.
right. So, yep. Same journey.
And of course, we have to thank Mark Winter for giving
Yes.
us this spot on Pet Life Radio so we can reach so many people.
Yes. Yes. Such a good man.
We'll be publishing the websites when we publish the radio show and the video version. So you'll be able to go sign up for the course, and we'll let you know the dates of the fundraiser.
Yes.
Excellent. Onward and upward.
Yes. All right.
Bye.
Bye.